John and Emily moved into an old Victorian mansion on the outskirts of town. The house was spacious, with high ceilings and stained glass windows, but it had a strange, pressurized atmosphere. "It's just an old house," Emily reassured herself, looking at the cracks in the walls. John, on the other hand, was delighted. "A little renovation and it'll be perfect," he said, running his fingers along the wood paneling. But on the very first night, Emily was awakened by a sound that sounded like a whisper. She sat up in bed, listening. A rustle, like something was moving inside the walls. "John," she whispered, pushing her husband to her side. He groaned in his sleep and rolled over onto his other side. Emily took a deep breath, trying to convince herself it was just old pipes or mice. But the next day, when John decided to take apart one of the partitions in the basement, he found something horrible. Hidden behind the wood paneling were skulls. Dozens, maybe hundreds. And they were all facing in their direction, like they were watching. Emily screamed. John jerked back, his face pale. But before they could do anything, a thudding, scraping sound came from deep inside the dark opening. Something was there. Something alive. John froze, staring into the darkness beyond the partition. Emily pressed her palm to her mouth, holding back a scream. Are those human skulls? Her voice shook. John swallowed, leaned closer and reached out to touch one of the skulls. But at the same instant there was a scraping sound. From somewhere in the depths of the dark passage. "It's like claws clawing at stone. We have to go," Emily whispered, backing away. But John didn't move. He stared deep into the opening, his eyes widening. "There's someone out there." Emily grabbed his arm. "Don't you dare go in there." But John, as if hypnotized, reached for the nearest skull. And the moment his fingers touched the cold bone, the skull turned. There was a muffled cracking sound, as if the bones were moving inside the wall. And then a whisper coming from everywhere. Emily jerked back, her breath hitching. "Do you hear that?" John stared frozen at the moving skulls. His lips trembled. They were talking. The whispers grew louder, merging into an agonizing chorus. "They're back. They're back. They're back. They're back." Something hit the partition on the other side. A resounding, heavy thud. And then, again. Boom. 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 Emily screamed, grabbed John's hand, and pulled him away from the basement. But before they could run out, the lights in the house flickered. And there was a creak of floorboards. Someone or something was coming down the stairs. A creak. A step.